Hello and welcome to the Place to Be Reviews Monday night going in raw. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Etepo Queen, PWD, right here in the Place to Be with all the yous. How you doing? Thank you for joining us on another Monday evening here, May 18th, 2020. And joining me this evening, the panel. First to my right, making his debut on the Place to Be Reviews, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Flipped Out.
How you doing? I'm Flipped Out. Good to be here, Etep. Thanks for having me on. Is this the part where you want me to talk about my channel?
Yeah, go right ahead, brother. Go right ahead.
All right. Well, if you guys haven't got around to checking me out, please do. It's just Flipped Out 2 P's, FLIPPDOUBT. Basically, do the same thing as everybody else, but I try and spin it up. You know, movies, criticizing, praising entertainment, trying to catch them SJWs doing it raw. And, you know, I ham it up a little bit, get a little stupid. You know what I'm saying?
I got to give it to you, man. That last video with the hologram thing, I was digging that. That was cool. That was cool. The OK Google hologram thing.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Do you have a Google?
I don't, but my phone just picked up when I said that. Damn it, I forgot.
I was trying to get people that to go off in their house, and I practiced for hours to try and get it to do something. And well, I landed on what I landed, but thanks for enjoying it.
Oh man, it was good. It was definitely worth a watch. And I'm gonna post a link to Flipp's channel in the chat right now. There we go, right there. It'll let me post links in there, I think, because I'm the hostess with the mostest. That's right. I'm a fancy broad. Coming up next on the panel, ladies and gentlemen, he's a regular over here. He is Emperor Steve of Franchise TV, Franchise History TV.
What up, everybody? Black Christmas 2019. That was a terrorist attack. That's all I gotta say.
You can elaborate on that in a few minutes, man. We're going to because we're gonna be talking about that. I'm gonna post a link to Franchise History TV right here in the chat right now. And last but certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, he is Mr. Tony ToneDef.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tony ToneDef, the world's wokest warrior, primitive-sided, toxic fanboy aligned with the like-minded. Going in raw on this Monday night. How's everybody doing? Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
As always, and I am posting a link to Tony ToneDef's channel in the chat right now.
Oh, thank you, brother.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right, so we've got a big show tonight. It is. I've got my little outline, my cheat sheet pulled up right here. Well, it says introductions. We're done there. I always go to that voice when I want to make fun of white people because that is like my old program director when I worked at FM. He sounded. I was doing a thing. I was making fun of generic like small town bar DJs. I've always got that. All right, guys and gals, it's time to get out on the dance floor and let's do the Cupid shuffle. And I'll be damned, dude, if I didn't listen to my program director, who is our morning show DJ on the air. And after I did that voice, he's like, "It's me, Brian Goodnow, in the morning here on Y102 FM, Big Rapids." I'm like, oh fuck. I'm making fun of this dude like within like 2 weeks of starting there. I didn't even realize he really said, because we'd only converse through email. I never actually met him at that point because we were in opposite times. I'm like, yeah, and he's like, "Hi, Brian, nice to meet you." I'm like, oh shit, this isn't good. It's me, Brian, down at the Sportsman's Bar, spinning the tunes here, ladies and gents. Like that's just my default, like that's just my default white guy voice. I don't know what happened. So, but I don't know. I just went into that. So Black Christmas, Steve brought it up, and yeah, I made everybody watch this because I had to suffer through it, and I told Flipp and the guys, I said, I'm going to live tweet this Friday night because I was lit after I come off of Raiders of the Lost Flicks, and I was like, I'm just going to watch this. I'm going to live tweet it. So I got it going, and I'm watching it, and the one file I had only was 15 minutes of it, and I was like, do I get off this easy? I'm like, I got to get the rest of this thing. I got to get the rest of it. And everybody's like, why are you watching this? Like, what are you on?
And what has he had? I want you to tell him what he has had.
And that was me. I said, what had he had? I had a lot of drinks. And I'm like, I'm going to find time. This is the only way I'm going to be able to get through this. And oh God, where do we start, guys? I mean, can we start with the opening crawl?
It just what's the prognosis on a cerebral contusion? Because this movie donkey punched me so hard that I'm just starting to see straight right now.
It hurt.
I
Like
mean,
everything about this hurt. Like the
again,
dialogue.
who
Oh,
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm catching all the blood in my diva cup right now. Excuse me.
Oh.
Emperor Steve come on earlier before we came on live, and he was like, "That was an assault."
Go ahead, Steve. Light it up, man.
I'm trying to accumulate my thoughts right now without being too overly loud because I'm not in my own house. I'm actually at my parents' house right now. I don't want them to hear me creeping and cussing and all kinds of stuff. But let me sum it up in the words I want to say right now. I'm gonna say it anyway. Fuck that movie. That's all I got to say. That's all I had to say. Who decided to make a movie this heavy-handed and decided that it was going to go in movie theaters and that it was going to be good for everybody to see? Who wanted to watch? I don't understand who greenlighted this. Who said this was okay to put into movie theaters for people to see and enjoy? I cringe so much at every scene, the beginning scene, the scene when the boyfriend got kicked out of the house, the black chick with the curly hair. She was so unbearable.
Oh God, I didn't even bother like learning their names. I'm just like, she was activist girl. That was diverse activist girl. The main character is that's
Lindsay.
She was she's victim girl. And then you had I know one of the producers girl, which is the one that they had the boyfriend. And then you had the dumb hot girl, dumb pretty girl that had the big thick eyebrows, look like caterpillars. But I was like, God damn, man, them like them little woolly bear caterpillars you got stuck to your forehead. How'd you get them to stay in place? That Gorilla Glue or something? I mean, them tracks in there, girl.
I mean, for a movie that tries to defend SJWs and feminists, particularly feminists, they sure do make the stereotypes quite obvious.
Yeah, like that was the thing. It's like that. It was to the point where you're watching it, you're going, is this parody or? No, they're not that smart. Then you're like, no, these films. Sophia Takal co-wrote and directed that, and she just got a show on Netflix greenlit, which is terrifying, but it's Netflix, so I mean, is anybody surprised? But this movie, like Tony, like you said it earlier, it's like how deep in that script were you when you were like, this is a hit. This is going to make us money.
Exactly. I mean, think about all of the minds sitting around all day, all the waiters in Hollywood, everyone writing scripts, and everyone's just starving for an original idea. And this is what gets greenlit. This is, again, what the writers persevered on. I mean, this is what somebody went into an office with. Okay, not morally the best people, but businessmen. I mean, in suits, and sold this.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean, again, it's not the people that wrote the movie that makes me mad. It's the people that hand them fuck tons of money for this.
Sad as unfortunate as it is, and I'm a big fan of this company, and I frequent there a lot. Universal, you really messed up with this one.
Oh,
I don't even want to go back to your parks anymore after this, because this was probably made. Let's say this deal was probably made 5 minutes away from the Hollywood theme park, which is a tall tower in whatever city I can't even think about. Universal City. I bet you they was up there just yucking it all up. So, but this is going to be great. This is going to be good. I can't believe we're actually doing this. We're going to put this in movie theaters. I can't believe that they did this. I'm really shocked and appalled.
I tried to turn on the link that you gave me, and it didn't work. So I went to a specialty little torrent place I check out every now and again, and I found it along with two other Black Christmases. One was from 1970.
That's the original in 74. Yep.
Okay, yeah, that must have been it. And I clicked on it and I thought, wait a minute, why'd you do that? And I backed out and I saw one from 2006. I was like, there you go, clicked on it. And I thought, but wait a minute, why would he talk about a movie that old? So I checked again, and sure enough, there was one from 2019. So I started it. Black Christmas, this is the name for anyone listening. Just to remind you what not to watch, or unless you feel like hurting yourself, you're a sadist, a masochist, Black Christmas. And it starts out
a movie like this can only be made in a world where men can get pregnant. Because
Transformers.
the fundamental idea of, I mean, there being some actual war between the sexes. Men need women and women need men. And there are certain things men can't do, and there are certain things women can't do. And that's why we complement each other so well. It's like the yin yang, a mutually attracted yet opposed force. So, I mean, the fundamental basis that this movie is built off of, where we're meeting up, you know, after this show, we're going to go backstage and give our secret password and talk about how we're going to abuse women tomorrow. I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah.
When Carrie Elwes is the professor, of course, and boy, they just give it all. It's like exposition city, like in the beginning, like when the girls are walking and there's that kind of like faraway scene, you're looking out of the window, and activist girls like, yeah, he like used to murder women who were like disobedient, and they did some like dark art shit. I'm like, so you just basically gave away the entire fucking gimmick right there. And then they find the black goo, of course, the Blumhouse trope of black goo, which they used in here in Fantasy Island, you know, because why not just use the same trope in the two movies when you have no imagination, no creativity. It's like you know, Fantasy Island, they're like, who could possibly replace somebody as iconic as Ricardo Montalban? Hey, why not Michael fucking Pena? Let's just throw it in there. And I like, and don't get me wrong, dude, I love Michael Pena. He's hilarious. Like, he is one of my favorite things about the Ant-Man movies, is just him telling those stupid stories, like how long he takes, because I have a friend that's like that, and God love him. It's funny. He's legit funny, and just no. So that just, in this movie, like you said, the cast in this, it's like, what's her name? The victim girl, Imogen Poots, I believe her name is.
Yes.
Oh, good Lord. She was just like so viscerally annoying. Like, I don't know, like her and activist girl were like going back and forth for who was like the most like annoying bitch in the movie. Like, seriously. Like, I hate to call them bitches, but since I don't know your names, I'm just going to lump you all in together right now. But God, you know, they were just, oof. It was bad. Like, it was completely bad. Like, nothing, they did nothing to make you care about those characters. Like, nothing.
Yeah, the whole.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the whole entrance scene for Activist Girl is talking about the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Like, the first 3 words out of her mouth are like, we got to fight against the patriarchy.
Yep. That was it. And it's like, so you've just alienated me. I mean, not because I'm a misogynist, but because I'm a man, and you just like generalize, like through the whole movie is just like basically like men are bad. Like, no matter what. Like that security guard. Like, they made him just look like a, you know, kind of like an aloof idiot. Like, he's like, whatever, little girl, you know, like it was bad. Like you said, when the boyfriend, he like stood up, Simon Mead, I think his name was. And he stood up, and the 4 of them just like ganged up on him. You know, I think even Dumb Girl like threw a couple barbs at him. I mean, it was just like, why? Like, what did he even do? He has done nothing but like cater to every one of their whims, like during the entire movie.
Even the security guard was like, so what you were saying is that they made every trope, and one of those, not only was the word patriarchy made in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
When it does get to the security guard, he's like, "Oh, boys will be, you know."
Yep. Yes, I forgot about that one. Yes.
Oh.
And they had him slather in the mayo on the sandwich. I'm like, well, hello, Our Lady of the Courageous Caucasians. I wonder if that's spicy. Like, come on, man. Like, oh God. But yeah, I'm trying to think here. What else? The song and dance routine. How about that? How about that shit
Ooh.
show? Oh God, like
That was garbage.
that was so bad.
That had to have scarred me because I have no recollection. I'm trying to remember a song and dance, and I just see Carrie Elwes in a fucking hood.
Looking like Palpatine. He's like, can I just pretend like I'm Palpatine? They're like, no, you're an evil symbol of the patriarchy, and you hate women. He goes, can I just pretend I'm Palpatine?
I am the patriarchy.
If he would have said that, it would have made it so much easier to deal with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He should have just.
I gotta say, in defense of this movie,
Oh,
okay, if there's anything positive I can, and this is just a relative situation, comparing it to Birds of Prey.
Oof.
At least these women in this movie in Black Christmas fought together better as a cohesive unit and a team than Birds of Prey did at all in that movie. I mean, it was literally, this movie was a Harley Quinn movie and the girls were in the backdrop. And like I've gone into it before, but even at the end of the movie, the rest of the team comes running up at the end after the danger has been extinguished. So at least in this movie, at least in Black Christmas, they're fighting together. So if I can give it any positive marks, it would be that and the diversity.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because you don't have to know or relate to the characters as long as, you have diversity. So sorry if you guys missed that.
Nothing needs to make sense anymore. Nothing. We have diversity. We're set.
Yeah.
I just see Sophia Takal writing this. She goes, let's see. She's got her little checklist over on the left-hand column. We're script over here. Let's see. So, okay. So diverse activist girl complains about patriarchy. There's a scene right there. That's all we need. Let her improv the fucking lines. Let's not write any lines. There's no dialogue written. Just be an intersectional feminist. And they're like, oh, okay.
It's all performance art anyway.
Oh.
And they couldn't decide whether they knew they hated men throughout it, but every now and again they were like trying to say that they liked men.
Yeah.
It's really subtle and terribly written and poorly acted. But you wanted people to know that there are some beta men that we like. And so we'll say something nice about them, but it was very brief. And then men are attacked almost immediately after that.
Yeah. Those moments were fleeting.
Yeah.
Yep.
They gave like when Victim Girl was walking around the frat house and she just stumbled upon the ancient ritual. Here it is right here. Yada. I'm just like, oh wow, look, the mysterious black goo is on the door. Ooh. I mean, like, did they purposely make this for people with head injuries?
I think they did.
I mean, it's like, where are you going to find an audience for this movie? Like, the convalescent home where there are like pretty much just gone anyway. It's just like, I mean, you're putting this on an internment camp. So are they showing this at Gitmo? I mean, like, who is this for?
It's a torture device. Clockwork Orange. That's what this is.
It was like, I was like, so this is the part where we open doors so we know the plot of the movie or something.
Yeah.
So open one door and there's the whole, like you said, the black goo and the ancient ritual for the fraternity. Then she opens another door. Oh, my girlfriend's getting raped. I better do something about it.
Oh, God, please don't open door number 3.
Right.
You've already found an ancient ritual, a potential rape, and I mean, what's next? There's going to be a homicide somewhere in here. Speaking of that, like the very first girl, Lindsay, that got killed in the beginning, I think my first tweet was, who's going to believe that you can pierce a breastplate with an icicle?
Yeah.
Like, a skinny little icicle. I mean, I'm not a serial killer or anything, but I mean, it's just like that's a very, when they do an autopsy, they have to use a saw to cut through that. I mean, it's not, it's not like paper. That's a bone. So
and it's slippery. I mean, there's that.
And that's how you can explain them packing magazines into revolvers on The Simpsons, and they know nothing about gruesome violence.
I mean, this was like that was like it was one of the funniest kill sequences. And then what's her name? I was never so happy to see somebody die. What's her name? Franny. She's
Which
like, Franny was the one that just stood there. She had the I'm bored with your Manalog shirt on, and just shoved the pad right down the front of her pants.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I was like, immediately when that happened, like in my head, I'm just like, she's a lady. Whoa, 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 she's a lady.
You know what cuts deepest for me is that Cary Elwes finally redeemed himself after years of exile.
Yeah.
For not fucking Alicia Silverstone in The Crush.
Oh yeah.
He finally redeems himself in Saw, and then
Yep.
he goes and pulls this shit.
The Crush. There's, I feel like Obi-Wan. There's a name I have not heard in a long time.
Yes, that was a while back.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a deep cut right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a deep cut.
It was either that or Blurry Spice, so
Yeah, Cary Elwes. And then when Victim Girl runs into him when she's looking for her hair clip, quote unquote, looking in the windows of the frat house, when he bumps into her, she sees a list of all the girls' names. Like, oh, how convenient. There's a list of all the girls who have stepped out of line, quote unquote. I'm like, oh my God. Hi, we're movie. Viewers, we want you to know we think you're morons. Like, you obviously you've spent your money. So first of all, second of all, you're actually staying. You've stayed through the opening credits. So and here, exposition, bad dialogue, exposition.
it's
And
almost
that's the end of the movie.
it's almost like they had a list of the names in the writer's room and they were trying to figure out how they would work it into the movie, and someone just said fuck it and took the list and hung it up.
In Cary Elwes's bag. Here, drop this.
Yep.
The camera will pan to it long enough for the morons in the crowd to realize them are the names of the characters.
Did you notice that the killer kept getting larger and larger?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I did.
Yes. I'm
That's
like,
weird.
is
It's
it
man spreading.
one of those shrinky dinks you put in water? I don't know.
Yeah, like when the scene in the very first kill scene where they're in the front yard of the snowy house or whatever, and there's these blow up Santa dolls and all this. They put everything in that little yard they possibly could, because I'm convinced there was whoever was in the robe, I'm guessing maybe a stunt double or someone very small, kept hiding behind the blow up stuff. And I kept thinking, doesn't this girl realize that they're just hiding right behind the blow up doll thing, you know?
She was too busy. She was too busy worried about getting her freaking UGG boots fucking wet.
Yeah.
I didn't water treat these. Oh my God, they're gonna get ruined. They're suede. They're meant for looks, not functionality. And then,
oh my God, they just completely disappeared. They're not even here anymore.
I like how he just answered the door. Like he inexplicably just answered the door. Like, did he have time to off a whole family?
In seconds.
Like literally. There was a scene like that in The Walking Dead last season with Beta, where he just like runs through a house and like kills like 8 people. Spoiler alert for those of you. Well, I mean, it's not really that. It's not really that like telling of a scene. He just like runs through a house and kills like 8 people like that. So I'm like, is this dude like? Did he do that? I mean, you know, the black goo give you superpowers like that, man? I mean,
I guess so.
Imagine being the mom and dad after this movie goes off and the credits roll on and it says written by and you see your child somewhere.
No. That's rough.
They probably invited the neighbors and aunts and uncle, everybody over to see the kids' movie. They're all excited. And this literally, it doesn't even play. It just shits out of the TV.
This is it. This is the best we got. You know, we tried, and this is it.
Oh, don't worry, Harriet. There's no breasts in this. It's a feminist movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, really? They were walking the line with the little outfits there, little Santa outfits they were wearing. I was like, wow, I'm surprised they're actually wearing those. I mean, I know they're a sorority, but still they're like hardcore feminists, you know. I'm like, even activist girl put the slutty little outfit on.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, double standards.
Total double.
Yep.
See, they're like, it's situational. It's like, no, I'm not a feminist right now. I'm a sorority girl. I'll be a feminist when I'm done.
And
I'll fight the patriarchy after I'm done. After I'm done shooting for my OnlyFans account. Those are the kind of girls that have OnlyFans accounts too. They're like hardcore feminists, hate men until they give them money.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think Steve, you had it right though. It was a little bit of a terrorist attack.
It was a terrorist attack on the senses, on the brain, on my body, soul, everything. Everything that I believed in. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't know if it's more of the movie or Universal just being behind this movie. I don't know anymore. I don't want to watch movies anymore.
What about, okay, so when Dumb Girl goes upstairs and I'm going to go get lights for decor. And she's sitting there and she's plugging the lights in. She's like, do lights expire? I was like, oh, Lord, child, and you're going to college?
Yeah, that was
You're in college?
Oof.
God.
And then she plugs him in. The guy's just right there. I'm like, oh, thank God, just kill this one, please. just please. I'm like, you couldn't kill him off fast enough. And then like you said, they kick the boyfriend out, and then he comes back in and he just dies just a pathetic death.
Yeah, he does.
Oh.
At one point I thought, is this a movie made for guys where we're supposed to enjoy them killing the feminists?
Yeah.
I questioned that at one point. And then I thought for a second, and then I didn't.
I thought the same at one point in time too. I thought, oh, maybe this is not so bad. Then, yeah, it got really heavy-handed. Like the first 2 minutes was like heavy-handed already.
Mm-hmm.
It was like bad.
I'm sitting here searching, and it doesn't. And if I'm wrong, excuse me, but it doesn't look like this movie was released in China, which I wouldn't think anyway because of the whole Christmas thing and religion. But
yeah,
that makes it even worse that we get. I mean, these movies that pander to China all year long, and now you're making a movie for the West now and for the U.S., and this is what you come up with. We have a movie finally that isn't going to pander to China, and this is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just another layer on top of the wound that this movie inflicted on not just us as individuals, but as society.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Here, I'll share this. Look at this. Okay, so you're talking about the release, Tony.
Yeah.
All right, so this made 10 million domestic, 8 million international, 18 million worldwide against this had a $5 million budget.
Jesus. Wow. It made money.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it made $13 million against a $5 million budget. So I mean, you figure that $5 million budget, they never include the advertising in this. And this had a pretty decent marketing campaign.
Isn't usually the marketing just times 2 the budget? So it'd be like 10 million.
Yeah. So they made basically they made $3 million on this movie. So they barely broke even.
I mean, I'd like to make $3 million off this hunk of shit.
I know.
Maybe
my French.
Maybe there should be a Black Christmas matriarchy edition.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun.
Yeah.
Could we have a character based on Anita Sarkeesian?
Yes.
Have one based on her, one based on Kathleen Kennedy, Leslie Headland.
The AOC.
Brie Larson, all of them.
Brie Larson.
This is our female Avengers movie.
She-Hulk writer too. Don't forget the She-Hulk writer.
Oh, Dana Schwartz.
Yeah.
Amber Heard.
Amber Heard. Amber Heard would be the Hulk because she just punches things, apparently.
Yeah, her rage.
Throws vodka bottles.
Poor Johnny Depp.
We'll do it live! Fuck
Oh, I could see. I want to see Brie as the leader of the Avengers. Just I was looking forward to the Avengers 5 until they were talking about like her being a leader. I'm like, no, come on. I'm like, by then she'll be like in her late 30s, and Kevin Feige won't even want to hit it anymore. I was like, there's no rational explanation on why that they were so big on her coming in. She won an Oscar for the movie Room because she played a victim. You know, I mean, it just didn't make any sense to me.
Bro, she's so woke that they don't need coffee anymore. She walked into Marvel Studios and there you go, bro. And I'm telling you, 2025, the summer of Brie, we're going to get a Star Wars movie. Brie Larson is the lead, and we're going to get the new Avengers movie, and they're going to come out together, you know, within months of, and it's going to be dubbed the Summer of Brie, and that's when we're all going to finally lay back and accept it.
Wait, where's Leo Red when you need him? He's like the only Brie Larson fan that like actually subscribes to my channel that doesn't hate me.
You know, he got real mad on Saturday about that too.
Oh, he did. He did.
You know, Disney is really, they're in big debt right now, and
Oh yeah.
they just borrowed like 11. Well, they didn't borrow it. They sold 11 million in bonds to the Arabs.
Jeez.
No, it was 11 billion. Sorry, 11 billion.
What?
I heard something about that. So is it they own? Don't they own part of like an interest now? I mean, so are they gonna have to start catering to like Saudi Arabia? You know, okay. So if they have to do that, Disney's really they're gonna really show that that corporate hypocrisy in their actual beliefs, what they preach and what they practice then. If they're going to start catering to there, because I have no problem like with I was one of the people that defended the movie Onward and said, you know, this isn't woke just because there's a lesbian character in it. She has a one-off line and there's nothing ham-fisted about it. It was what it was to me. You know what I mean? It was a simple. My girlfriend's kids had me pulling my hair out. That's it. Nothing else said right there. But people are, you know, the watchdogs are, you know, they hear that dog whistle and they start barking, and I'm like, it's there. You know, the rest of the movie was about two boys trying to find their father, you know, spend more time with their father. I'm like, if anything, you know, it was kind of a patriarchal thing, but the female characters are done right. The point with this I'm making is that if they start catering to the Middle East, the views on women in that region are, and as far as the alphabet community goes, are very very Neanderthal-esque, shall we say, to put it bluntly. So Disney has a big moral dilemma on their hands if they have to cater their content. You know what I mean?
I would agree. Yeah.
So that's the same thing with WWE. They have to do that too, because they run that show in Saudi Arabia, and it's like, you know, for touting your diversity and your promotion of women, you're really playing for a backwards audience there.
Do you mind if I expound on something for a moment?
Go ahead.
Okay, so we have Disney. Like Flipp was talking about, they're losing money. Now they're juggling American audiences. They're juggling Chinese audiences. They're juggling Arab audiences. Okay, Middle Eastern audiences. All right, and they're growing bigger and bigger. They're buying everything up. And the thing is, when you have a vision for your company, that's one thing. But the bigger you grow, the more you lose sight on the things further out, like what's going on maybe at Fox or Star Wars or Marvel. And combine that with our cancel culture and politically correct era that we're in, where Kathleen Kennedy, she can go hire Leslie Headland, because what are you gonna do? You can't fire me. You know, and so we not only are they losing sight, but they can't even run their business properly. The mafia worked because you could shoot the fat, you know, you could kill the people that weren't working. Here, you just got to grit your teeth. So this is all part of Disney's demise, and it's gonna happen. And that's how companies work. That's how entertainment companies work. You know, the big companies eventually get too big and the ship sinks. And the independent companies and the smaller companies end up like Motown Records, they grow and they end up becoming the big dogs. And it probably happens a little slower in Hollywood than it would the music industry. It seems to happen in the music industry, every few decades or so. But I don't know. It just seems like this is all we're watching in slow motion, like watching Up in the Stars and seeing something, supernova in slow motion or something. We're watching the demise of Disney. And they may make a few more $1 billion on this movie or that movie, but it's a long-term process. And, I think it'll be healthier for not just entertainment, but everybody wants, and it's nothing against Disney. It's any company that gets this much power. It's just going to corrupt them. So once it's gone and depleted, I think we'll all be a little happier.
I'm really hoping on that. I'm really banking on that right now because Disney, they just, I don't know, they done too much. I think they have ruined movies to a point because everybody has tried to have their little shared universe, and when they do these shared universes, sorry I had to pick on DC and Warner Brothers, they kind of rush them a little bit, and they bring up, like, when they rush them, they have bad writing in them that don't make sense. And you get stuff like Justice League and other stuff, subpar stuff like, another perfect example is The Mummy 2017. You get stuff like that. So I really hope that Disney just like goes away for some time, so we can finally get back to like making real movies
Yeah.
and some real good writing. I think that's what has happened so far since Disney has gotten bigger.
Yeah, they got too big for their britches. Bob Iger talking about what last year, he's like, I'm going to possibly go for the presidency. Here's my new book. What?
Yep.
Got a little big for his britches, I think.
Yeah.
And again, he has no control. I mean, and that's their problem. There's no singular vision to follow because, again, they can't touch half their employees without being labeled sexist and whatever. And it's so big. I mean, they don't know what people are doing. I mean, look at Kathleen Kennedy herself. Solo got away from her. She didn't know what Lord and Miller were doing, and she's right there. So how's Iger gonna know what it's the end for him. It may take a while, but it's the end for him, I believe.
You might be right, and I hope you are. I was watching. Well, I watched something someone did on the FC channel because I like to go back and check and talk to people, comments and stuff. And Stephanie Janicek had done a video for us over there, and there was a whole bunch of comments, and she decided to reply to one of my replies, and she had noticed that I hadn't seen one of her videos. Anyway, long story short, she did a really good one over on her channel about all of this. And it made me think of how I was watching The Mandalorian again for like the third time, the entire thing through, because I love it. At the end, it shot me over to a special thing on Disney Plus that is like this 3 episodes of like a new documentary that just released, I think, this May.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, there's a round table, and there's John Favreau and
Filoni.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
I've seen clips, but I haven't watched it through yet.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. But the only thing that Kathleen Kennedy gets to say, because she's only, I think, in episode 2, they changed the round table, each one, it looks like. And she has to butt in, and she's like, well, if I can just have a word here. and it's like everyone's like, oh, shit. You could see it on their faces. And then another time you can look in the background when they're showing people in the volume, the set that they use. She's walking around there trying to, be buddy with people, and they're shunning her left and right, trying to walk away from her. And you can see it. It's a beautiful thing.
You're on the council, but you're not a master.
Yeah. Good way to put it. I might even do a video about it, but it's something's happening over there,
the
guys.
Body language just speaks volumes.
Exactly. Ooh, that's a good, I won't steal that. That's a good one, though.
No, feel free. I'm sure I stole it from somewhere.
What's up? Hey, I want to say what's up to the chat. What's up, Flair X? Yes, now you can pocket ban yourself because you're wrenched up, buddy. So there you go. Flip, it was kind of funny because one of my mods that's here, he's not here now. He must be working. Well, he's from Australia, so he's on a completely different schedule. He pocket banned 2 people in one night on accident.
Oh.
It was glorious because both of them had backups to come back into the chat with. They're like, why did we both get banned? And Chris is like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I pocket banned you guys. So that's been the running joke now. He's like, I'm only 1 click away from being pocket banned again. What's up, Appalachian American? How you doing, my man? Thanks for joining us. That Kathleen Kennedy we're talking about her, she's one of those people that you can tell she just sucks the air out of the room when she walks into it. Like you said, she butts into that discussion and everybody's face just goes, you know, you can see that when you're sitting around and you're having a discussion, like you'd be like a get together and have a few drinks, whatever, and you know somebody walks up and you collectively are just like, you know, you just like, oh, you know, because you know they're just gonna say some off the wall dumb shit that nobody wants to hear, and it's usually like a drunk uncle or something like that. But yeah, man, like she hasn't. What has she ever really created? I mean,
Nothing.
Coffee.
Exactly. She makes a mean cup of coffee. That's why she got where she is. That and something else. But anyway, you know, she married a Marshall. So I mean,
no,
was it Frank Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
Frank Marshall's her husband. Yeah, I mean, so she just rode his coattails and then, you know, got to know Spielberg, you know, after getting him coffee, and you know, got George Lucas coffee, and he was like, I'll name Kathy president. She gets a good cup of coffee.
When I found out Kathleen Kennedy was going to be, you know, in charge of all this, I guess I just didn't realize that to the extent that she was included in everything. Because when I was a kid growing up, I was like, I always saw her name, Kathleen Kennedy, because I always remembered Kennedy got shot, and for some reason that stuck in my head, the name. Yeah. I thought, oh, she's always attached to this, you know. She's in my brain. I thought, oh, well, that's great. And then she's like, oh, it's important to honor the characters, blah blah blah. And I elbowed my son. I was like, see, it's gonna be great. Oh man,
oh, God.
He's 19 now, and you know, every time somebody pops up, like, I mean, Geeks and Gamers will throw that up every now and again with her saying that. I just, you know, it hurts when he's. Yeah, she's a rough situation all the way around. And you're right, just a secretary. That's all I can think.
Yep. I mean, really, and I don't say that because she's a woman. I say that because she's a totally unqualified human being for the position that she's in, you know. And I call out anybody if they're that bad at their job. I mean, look at the same argument could be made about Zack Snyder over at DC when he was there. But I say that, and I don't say that from me personally because I like Man of Steel. I like Batman versus Superman because I wanted a true solo Ben Affleck Batman movie. I mean, we're getting sparkly bitch ma'am Batman now. It's like Robert Pattinson. He's not Batman. He's bitch ma'am. He is bitch ma'am because he's built smaller than Ruby Rose. And Zoe Kravitz is going to have bigger arms than him by the time the movie rolls around. She's Catwoman. She's gonna be looking more. She's gonna be looking all toned up, and Robert Pattinson is like, she's the skinnier version of Pat from Saturday Night Live.
Pat.
Can I share a thought I had the other day? All right, so I don't know what everyone's opinion is on Jared Leto as Joker. You know, I think he's a fine actor. I just don't think Joker was the right role for him, and it kind of seemed like he tried a little too hard. I feel like Robert Pattinson is going to be to Batman what Jared Leto was to Joker.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately.
It's not like you want to see a bad Batman.
No.
You know, nobody wants to see a bad Batman movie. That's like, I mean, he's like one of my damn favorite characters. Between him and Flash. You know, I mean, I love Marvel, but like DC has always been like Batman and Flash, you know, them were my guys, you know. Yeah. I'm not so much of a Superman fan, but I do like the old Superman movies, the Christopher Reeves ones. I like Man of Steel. I think Henry Cavill was a damn good Superman. Now, Justice League, that was better. It could have been better. It wasn't. I watched what's his name, Mahler. Was it Mahler, a Critical Drinker, that did that one? And I'm just like, man, he was right about pretty much all of it, but still, it's like like the Flash, like what is he like? What does he do? He's like he's just fast. You know, he's like Wonder Woman and Superman both prove they're just as fast as him. So what, what does the Flash actually do? I'm like, well, he's Barry Allen. He's the Flash. Now Ezra Miller is not a good Flash.
No,
Like,
he's not.
Ezra Miller is just Ezra. He's weird. He's an odd little fella. But anyway, he's not
joking people.
yeah, he's choking. Him and Ray Rice are having a competition now. I heard. Damn. Flash is choking bitches. Ray Rice is knocking bitches out in elevators. I mean, it's getting scary out there. You can't even trust the Flash anymore. Damn. Hey, who we got in the chat here? Nerdy Blurb TV. Hello. Hey, what's up, Nerdy Blurb? Yep, we got to thank him for my my layout, my graphics, and everything. That's check him out if you need logos or intros, outros, like I have on my videos and my show now. That is Mr. Nerdy Blurb TV. He hooked that up. Fan Addicts of Film. Hello, welcome. First time I'm seeing your name here, so welcome. If you're so inclined, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. So yeah, we're talking. We kind of branched over into justice, which is fine. I don't mind. I just like the organic conversation. So I see everybody's joining us. That's fine. I love it, man. Everybody's coming into the chat now. That's right. Be sure to bitch slap that like button for me. Do that ish. So yeah, we got I was see. Yeah, we didn't even plan that shit. No, a lot of people do hate Superman. I don't hate Superman. I'm just not the biggest fan. But I grew up with the Christopher Reeve Superman. They were fun. They were fun movies. I like Cavill. This new Superman and Lois show, I'm a little bit nervous about that, how that's going to go. I'm pretty sure Lois will probably be beating him up halfway through the show. She'll be beating the shit out of him. Superman will make the sandwich wrong. Lois will smack him around the kitchen or something. I don't know. But no, it's like they went out of their way on the Supergirl show to make Superman look weak. And the only thing weaker than Superman on that show was the show's ratings. Supergirl has worse ratings than Batwoman. I mean, it's hideous. And like I said, I remember watching the first season on CBS. I got like 5 episodes into it, and I was like, "Oh, this is terrible." I mean, back then, I don't think people were really calling it woke. I mean, it was just like, I was like, "This is just, no."
Well, everything's going woke. Everything.
Oh God, yeah.
And what do you think about that? Like with the pandemic, forcing studios to cut back, end projects, freeze projects, lay off, set personnel, and just anything from designers to writers. Like, yeah, and can they sustain this with this pandemic and all this, and continue to push this agenda?
No,
it's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
So this could be the end of the agenda that we're looking at.
I would think so. I would hope so anyway.
Yeah.
What's up, Leo Red? My mic is on, brother. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I think the true end of the agenda will be like, and not to keep bringing it back to here, but when the bigger companies finally collapse, and the smaller companies start becoming more prevalent, but that's only going to last until one company buys another, and the bigger fish eat all the little fish, and then just a handful of companies are left with all that power again, because it's just the cycle. No one can throw the ring in the volcano,
Hey, just remember.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. I think Apple is playing it the smartest, and I know that sounds strange to just throw an Apple like that, but they were considered to be possibly looking at, maybe buying Disney, or at least buying shares of it recently. And this really odd thing happened to me in December. I was watching YouTube looking for something interesting, and I ran across this thing that talked about germ warfare. And it was, I had no idea that this was going on in China at the time. I was just watching stuff. And the guy, why can't I think of the guy? Microsoft guy, Bill Gates. He starts, popping up on this program I'm watching. And apparently he's real obsessed with germ warfare. And he's all prepared for it. He has this whole thing dug out on his property. It's like 8-mile square property. multiple tunnels, multiple underground homes, and bomb shelters. He's ready, and he said, "This is really weird." He said he just recently sent all of his help home, all the gardeners, all the maids, butlers, whatever they're called on his property, home, and said, go protect your family for the weekend, and maybe we'll talk to you in a little bit. But then nothing happened. But he said in that program something is about to happen.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say too much about it because you're on YouTube, but yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, yeah. Big tech is planning something, and I think Bill Gates is just simply paranoid, but probably because he knows things we don't.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know when it's going to happen. But I think people in the right places know when things are happening. Look at Bob Iger. He left Disney completely on a dime.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, this other Bob's in charge. Like,
now Lumberg, I got a meeting with the Bobs later.
A lot of CEOs have been resigning lately.
There was a list of like 30 of them.
Yeah.
Leading up to this whole the pandemic gimmick.
I think I shared that on Facebook too.
Yeah, it was like a ridiculous amount. Like it was like 30 to 35 CEOs of like major corporations and companies stepping down all within weeks or like a month of each other. It was hilarious. And you were talking about woke entertainment and stuff. Now I got Walmart selling comics now, so I've been I scooped up they had a Fantastic Four set. So I'm like, it's like 3 books, right? So front one is a Fantastic Four book, the back one is a Fantastic Four book. This was in the middle. This is Runaways. I don't know if anybody's ever read this or not. I haven't read it yet, but I kind of flipped through it and oof. Let's just say there's like multicolored hair and septum rings abound. I mean, it's just like, I was like, okay, this is, I'm like, I read a few of the panels. I'm like, ugh. Like I can see why they hid this one in between 2 Fantastic Four books. It's just like, oh God.
Have you seen the previews for that on Hulu? It's for the Runaways. It's a Hulu exclusive show.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
I haven't.
about.
It's bro. I thought I was woke, but now I must be on something powdery and white because just watching the previews from that, man, and God, I feel so guilty now. My damn ancestors.
I think Elizabeth Hurley is on that show too.
Oh, really?
Is she?
Yeah.
Man. No, I've just seen the previews, but I mean, it just looks, it's like, I don't know if you've seen the previews or seen any of Cloak and Dagger 2, but it's probably like a degree or 2 more woke than that.
Oh God.
I haven't seen any. The last program I watched called Cloak and Dagger with Dabney Coleman was in it. Some of our older listeners might remember that was a movie way back. Yeah, Am I showing my age here? I mean,
well, you're not. I'm 46, so
okay, you got a couple years on me.
I'm usually the oldest one in these.
23.
Let's see. Here's what Leo read. I watch every season of Runaways TV show. It's woke as fuck. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. Like I said, I looked at the cover of that comic and I'm like, what have I done? I was like, Anakin. I opened it up and I'm like, oh God. Now the comic book shop I go to or I order from, he is going to make sure he gets a copy of New Warriors for me. He's going to send me. I said I haven't reviewed any comics on my channel yet. I'm going to wait till I get that one. That's going to be my first one. I said, oh, I can't wait to get a hold of that steaming pile. I said, I will spend my money on that.
Yeah, I have a feeling that might be trending.
Oh
yeah.
Oh yeah. That'll be a good one for the view counter. That'll be a good video to have in the algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, because I think it's supposed to drop in like July now. They kept pushing it back. That one comic shop, the dude ordered like 500 copies of it. Nerdrotic, Gary did a video on it the other day. I was watching it going, well, this guy's smart because that's what Gary said, because he's smart because people are going to want it because it's going to be a dumpster fire and they're curious about it. So that's why this thing will probably, like the first issue will probably sell, like it'll sell out. It'll sell a ton of books. But after that, everybody's gonna be like, okay, it's just trash, but it's fun to get into that first, issue of it, just so you can kind of sit back and laugh. Because we were talking about it earlier to allude back to a point Flipp made earlier about, them, how long is this business model of this wokeness and this entertainment that has no audience, because the audience it's geared at doesn't spend money on anything because they don't have money to spend on this kind of stuff. It's like they're just trolling normal people at this point. And in a pandemic, especially in the comic book industry, they can't afford to do that.
No.
No, it's all going downhill. If who is it that changed it? There was Ghostbusters. They're working to change it. It's funny because they had that first Ghostbusters 2016 come out. What a mess.
Yep.
And now, like, Dan Aykroyd steps up. Well, we're getting Bill Murray, man. We've done everything, and he had to pull out some serious tricks to get Bill to agree to it.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure he felt like, what was that last thing I was part of that was garbage? And even then, it took him years to convince Bill Murray just to do that Ghostbusters. So, and I did a whole video on this one too, and they're definitely, they pushed it back. I don't know if they already knew the pandemic was coming or what. They did it before the pandemic, but they pushed it back. But when that thing drops, there's going to be a whole lot of, pushback on it, I think, on the left. But I think it's the beginning of everything changing. I don't know. Here's for hoping.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh. I really hope so. I still haven't watched Ghostbusters 2016, so.
Oh,
Either.
Well, if you want to watch Thor dance around like an idiot,
Nah, I'll pass then.
somewhere Alex is having an aneurysm. He does not like Chris Hemsworth as Thor. One of my guests from time to time, Link7, he's like, he didn't mind Thor, but he hates the Ragnarok, and Leo Red's gonna pop up because Leo Red's he likes Ragnarok. I don't know where you guys all are on it. I'm not a fan. It does have some good points. Like I don't like Taika Waititi, what he did with Thor, but I wasn't exactly a huge fan of the Shakespearean Thor. I mean, I'd like to find some kind of middle ground for him because I do like Chris Hemsworth. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Ghostbusters 2016, they made him look like, it was like he could have almost been a character in Black Christmas. He was so dumb.
Oh yeah.
Like that was it. Like, I mean, that was just, it was bad. And like the only reason they wanted to hire him is because what's her name? Kristen Wiig wanted to bang him, which Kristen Wiig's the only one in that movie that I actually find funny. I genuinely like Kristen Wiig. I'm kind of excited to see how she does as Cheetah in Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to see what she looks like too.
The pictures, she looked pretty good in the production stills they released. She looked good. I mean, everything, like it looks on point so far. I'm not, it's that Ghostbusters movie. It was like I wasn't sure if it was more offensive or if it was just bad.
Yeah.
that was the thing. It was like it tried to throw jabs, but it was done like it was just like a limp-wristed salvo of a movie that it felt like a Scud missile. I mean, Paul Feig admitted he can't write for men. He doesn't know how to do male characters, and he's done like Bridesmaids. That was funny. He was writing for women. It was funny. I like what's his name, the Irish cop in that movie. I can't ever think of the actor's name, but he was like, I was kind of surprised because he was like a kind of a manly character, and he didn't get made to look like an idiot in that movie. I mean, he kind of, Kristen Wiig kind of played him out a little bit, but he was still like, he wasn't like a simp or anything. You know what I mean? Like, wasn't like a weak, ineffectual male character. Like they just like, they made all the cops in that dance scene. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm having nightmares about that now.
It's like, you're right. It doesn't matter, right? Because he got all the Saturday Night Live alumni in it, so that they can just, riff the entire movie. And then they're like, well, what do we do at the end? We want to make it scary and funny. Funny goes with scary, right? Yeah, scary goes with, no problem. I got it. Why don't we do a musical?
I can see Paul Feig prancing around saying that too.
Absolutely. That guy. Yeah.
I always think he sounds like Tim Gunn in my head. I do. I just always picture him being like, it's fabulous.
That guy and his socks. He's got this thing for wearing socks. I saw him in some magazine. I'm like, what's up with that dude's socks? They've got, I don't know. It's weird.
He's always got like what are those? He has like weird pattern socks on. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like his thing or something.
Yep. Yep. Because guys are like that, you know.
Yeah.
Sounds like a beta male to me.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's worried about wearing special fancy socks. I'm worried about just finding some. So
I know. I'm like, can I have a pair without holes in them, please? It's not that I leave the house that much, but
don't get me wrong. I do have a fancy pair of Nike Elite socks and other socks, but the way you guys make him sound, he sounds like a freaking sissy boy.
no, he basically is. Like I said, the only good writing he's done for male characters was on The Office.
Oh yeah.
Because I love The Office. But then again, like you said, you're documenting and you're writing for office workers. You know, these aren't like construction workers and shit like that. So, you know, they don't have to be like over the top. Like that. I think that's why the warehouse guys were so over the top, you know, and they were almost just like almost like a stereotypical character. It's like, you know, these guys are the big burly warehouse workers. Now, I loved Craig Robinson once he got to, you know, he was funny in the warehouse, but when he got to come upstairs, it was like he was a more regular part of the show, and it made it better. You know, Roy, the guy that played Roy, I always thought he was funny. You know, he was kind of understated, but he was funny. Obviously not the abusive side of him, but no, he was a funny character, and I liked him in, this is an unpopular opinion, I liked him in the 2017 Power Rangers movie, which I liked. I really liked that movie a lot.
And that.
And we were supposed to get the Green Ranger in the next one.
I know, they set it up and everything, and then it's just like, oh, we're just gonna sell it.
Huh.
Lame.
Wow.
That was kind of lame. You know, speaking, I heard somebody mention, Flip, you mentioned The Mandalorian earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We have a trailer we're going to show right now. This is an exclusive. It's done in the vein of The Mandalorian. This is courtesy of Tony. I'm going to get the screen share right here.
Let's just say one of my contacts over at Lucasfilm emailed me earlier.
Can't wait.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Let's put this up right here. This is called The Scandinavian. Yeah, see that all right?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hit. I thought I hit share. My bad. Well, there's my first Polish moment of the night. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. Are we ready? Here is The Scandinavian.
They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree?
We have you 4-1.
Would you like to touch my penis?
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Jealous I didn't come up with that first. That was awesome.
Thank you.
That's like the third time I watched it too. It's just because I know it's coming, it just makes me laugh at the end every time.
I had no idea, man. I was like, okay, we've seen this trailer. I was wondering where you're
But wait, there's more.
Oh man.
Oh, that was good, brother.
Thank you. If you guys want to check it out, I'm making it public right now. Head over to Tony ToneDef, my channel, and it'll be over there. And I'm also going to upload it on my social media accounts. And thank you guys. I mean, the laughs mean a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was funny, man. I like it.
Tony ToneDef.
Yep. So let's see here. Right, let me pull this other article up here. We'll kind of, let's see. You know, I'm trying to think here. You know, it's the hell with that. We don't really need to talk about a gender swap kung fu show on CW. We can jump into topic number 3. We'll go in. We'll talk about some Empire Strikes Back, because that movie turns 40 on May 21st. I've got a video in the works. because Empire Strikes Back is not only my favorite Star Wars movie, it is my favorite movie overall. If that says anything about me, I don't know, but yeah, that is my movie. We got my Wampa right behind me here, staring over my shoulder. But yeah, there's so much right about that movie, and there's a question I really wanted to ask you guys, and that is and this is just my opinion, it is the best Star Wars movie. I mean, do you think what do you guys think? Which is the best Star Wars movie? If it's not Empire, what is it?
Ooh. If it's not Empire, I would have to say New Hope, Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Solid.
That would probably have to be the best one, but it's not second in my list. Actually, Revenge of the Sith is second in my list, but I'm conflicted now.
What about you, Flip?
I was gonna say Sith. I like Revenge of the Sith second. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Tony?
So I'm not trying to cop out or anything. What makes it hard is that Star Wars for me is a mood thing. Sometimes Empire is the best movie, and sometimes Revenge of the Sith is, sometimes A New Hope is, I mean, to me, I like them all, and I see a lot of setup and a lot of genius in the prequels that I don't think gets enough recognition. But I don't know. I mean, Empire, I'd say probably objectively it's the best movie. I mean, and it gives me, every time I watch that movie, when Luke's hanging upside down after he fell down the reactor shaft in Cloud City, and he calls for Leia. I mean, and I've said this before, but I mean, it just gives me goosebumps when he calls for her, and then that look in Carrie Fisher's eyes when the camera pans over. And I mean, that's probably my favorite Star Wars scene overall. So
that whole sequence on Cloud City is really good, because that's like the first time you really got to see that Leia had that Force sensitivity. And they didn't really go into it, obviously in the original trailer. And then when they did, of course, it was just in the sequel trilogy, it was a train wreck, and we shall not speak of that, which is non-canonical. But no, as you guys talk about Revenge of the Sith, Revenge of the Sith is actually my third favorite Star Wars movie. I got Empire Strikes Back is number one, Star Wars or A New Hope is number two, and Revenge of the Sith is number three. I love Revenge of the Sith. It is a great movie, but I do really enjoy the prequels as much as I do the OT, honestly. Even Attack of the Clones, for everything bad that it did with the dialogue and the writing, you got introduced to the clones. You got introduced to Kamino on that, and it was just, Ewan McGregor saved the movie. Count Dooku. Count Dooku is my favorite Star Wars character, hands down. And I mean, anything with him in it, I was a fan of. And that whole sequence with him on Geonosis, I mean, Christopher Lee was just, the man was iconic. And I know there were like, people complaining, oh, they got, an old man. I'm like, yeah, but it's Christopher Lee. I mean, you have a stunt double to do the stuff like in the CG with him and Yoda, like
70.
Yeah, it's amazing that he did his own stunts.
He turned down Tarkin originally.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yep, he was supposed to play Tarkin, which another one, those, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee were really good friends. But yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin was another great character.
Have we seen another Sith like Count Dooku? Because they're kind of scary looking or wearing masks or wrinkled faces. But I mean, Dooku had all the class and grace of, Obi-Wan or any Jedi, but he had all, the lack of morals and all the power of a Sith. And I mean, I'm just speaking to what Pete's saying. I mean, I think that's what makes him stand out as a lot of people's favorite, is the contrast in his style of Sith compared to any other Sith we really have seen on screen.
Because Dooku came from a very rich, affluent background on Sereno. And he was like borderline almost royalty on his planet. He joined the Jedi Order, and he didn't agree with all the teachings of the Jedi, and that's why he left the Order and joined the Sith. And it wasn't he never went full Sith though, because you never saw him, well, at least in the movies, with the the Sith eyes.
Yeah.
But that was one thing I really did like that the Clone Wars did, was they expanded on his character so much more. And yeah, he had some great lightsaber duels in the show. But man,
I think his whole going to the dark side was more of changing things for the better, not so much just fully going into the dark side. I think that's kind of what his whole mission was.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
wasn't just
back in the early 2000s, the way they did, I'm going to tell you this real quick, this little story about Attack of the Clones. I came down with meningitis, like completely mysteriously, because it's apparently very hard to get. But I came down with meningitis, found myself in the hospital with 24 hours to live.
Damn.
And they said, if you wake up, you have viral meningitis. If you don't wake up, we'll know it's bacterial and you'll die. I was like, that sucks. And then, but they were kind of telling me that while they were pushing it into my IV, this stuff to help me sleep. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was out. But I woke up, obviously. And a couple of days later, the novel for Attack of the Clones came out. And my dad brought it to me in the hospital. Gosh, I had to be around 23, 24 years old. And this was like a month before the actual movie came out. And I was like, man, this is so stupid that, they did this, but I'm glad, I read that whole book in like 2 days. And then I went to the theater knowing that all of this stuff they did is groundbreaking. They had done CGI work with the Phantom Menace, but they didn't really, it was still cartoony. They didn't just absolutely nail it. People were really iffy about it, if you remember. But when they did the Attack of the Clones, which a lot of people don't like, it's not a lot of people's favorites, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But they did a good job translating it from the book. They only left out a few parts. Anakin's murderous spree in the Tusken Raider village is much more described in the book. But coming out of that, I was like, oh, I got to see this Dooku. I've got to see what's going on. Care of the Old Folks Home and all that. That was written really well. So I saw it. And when I saw it on the theater screen, I was like, this is exactly the way I imagined it. Maybe that's why it's one of my favorites, but I would drop it right in there, number 3 behind.
Okay. And I can accept that, like I said, because there's a lot of aspects I really do like about that movie. And Ewan McGregor really saved a lot of the scenes that weren't, going well that he was in, and he was great as Obi-Wan. Like, he really was. Like, everybody, kind of soured on him around the marketing to in the lead up for Birds of Prey because of his comments to the media. And but yeah, he is Obi-Wan. He really plays that role well. And I was really hoping for a show with him, for so long, or a movie or something. But then it's like, do you really want to get it under this regime?
No.
Hell no. But and then you've got Filoni and Favreau and the Mandalorian, and it happened and it was done right. So there's that's what happens when you keep Kennedy away from it, I think. To kind of round back to Empire Strikes Back, and I've heard this discussed before. What do you think a standalone Hoth movie would have worked if it was almost horror based? And I think I put this in my notes. Think The Thing, but with Wampas, kind of, something along those lines.
Oh yeah, that would have worked. I would love to see something like that. A little spinoff of Empire Strikes Back. That's something they should be doing now, not trying to expand upon the Skywalker saga. Forget about the Skywalkers. Do something horror based like this, because Star Wars has a lot of horror type elements in it, and they don't want to use it at all. They want to keep going back to the Jedi, Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, that type of stuff. I'm like, that's done. That was done. Return to the Jedi and done. Revenge of the Sith. Story of the Skywalker story. It's over. Go somewhere else now.
Yep.
Don't freaking continue to keep crapping on that name. Do something different now. We don't need a whole epic saga of 3 movies. Make something like one movie, like something like a horror type movie or something like that. Do something like that. Make it good too, and not boring like Solo was. Yeah, I tried watching Solo a couple of days ago, and it was boring. I can't do it.
That movie, and that's the thing is like, I've never sat down and watched any Star Wars movie, even the holiday special, and been bored. Oh, we got to acknowledge, ladies and gentlemen, the Don of 2 Cents Toys. Salvador is in the chat. Hail Salvador. Said Sir Alec Guinness was old Ben, who when we met was having to learn to be Obi-Wan again. Then we met Ewan McGregor, who was already Obi-Wan. Yes. Alec. Oh no, I'm not taking anything away from Alec Guinness. I mean, he was the OG Obi-Wan, but Ewan McGregor really played that role well in the prequels. Man, he did.
Or did.
I couldn't see anybody else doing that, and he really brought Hayden up in a lot of scenes, because Hayden wasn't the best in those. He was serviceable. He was a lot better in Revenge of the Sith, obviously, than Attack of the Clones. But I didn't, like I said, the dialogue. It wasn't. I don't blame him as much in Attack of the Clones. I do the writing for that. It just it wasn't written well.
It wasn't
true.
He played a socially awkward, isolated kid with mother issues and detachment issues perfectly, in my opinion.
Oh, I'm not even gonna doubt that.
No,
I think I agree with you with that.
I know I've got some issues, and I've been that cheesy in front of girls before. So,
well, we all have.
Yeah, we all been there.
I think he was socially awkward in real life. I think that kind of played to his character, because he's thrust into this Star Wars universe. Hey, guess what? The world knows who you are all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And George Lucas wants you to do this, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll do this. You're an instant yes man, no matter what you want. Like, it's like, for the rest of your life, you will be known as Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. Yeah. I feel nervous for him.
And he's playing a character that Hayden Christensen, he wasn't who was Anakin Skywalker when the audience was introduced. So we're in the middle of this trilogy now, and he's just playing the character for the first time.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of his first early roles too. So
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Take that into account also.
But I like the idea, just like Steve does. I imagine all of us kind of like it, but the horror-based Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I've seen that somewhere in like a video game or something.
I don't know. All I know is there was a room in the Hoth and Echo base where they had wampas in them, because the stormtroopers, the sign got knocked down, and the stormtroopers accidentally went and got eaten by a bunch of wampas, which would have been it would have been, you just base a movie around them. Like, how did they get these wampas in the damn room?
You know what?
Why did they have a room full of freaking wampas? So, like that right there, dude, you can have rebel soldiers going out and rounding up wampas. I mean, seriously.
You know what I was kind of thinking for a movie? Okay, they never really explore this on Star Wars, okay? And maybe I'm taking a little from Luke's experience and maybe a little from Tony and Nebula at the beginning of Endgame, but have a crew. I don't know if you want to do a scientific crew, maybe you have the one warrior on, then a scientist and the pilot and a couple other people, and have them crash land on Hoth. And this can take place 20 years after the Return of the Jedi, or even it can take place after the prequel trilogy. It doesn't really matter, but they crash land on Hoth. They have no technology, no scanners, no way to let anybody know that they've crash landed on this planet. And they have to take refuge in the old Hoth base, which has been taken over now by just all kinds of wildlife. And it's dark. There's no power. And they have to, I don't know. I just feel like that would be interesting to see, because you always see these people shooting through space like it isn't really an issue. Or even an Empire, they stopped, they finally got the Falcon fixed, but they were never really stranded with no one to contact and nowhere to go. And I think that would be interesting to see.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Sorry to go. That's what I thought when I read the outline, was just that would be a scary planet to be stranded on.
Oh yeah.
At the end of World War II, for another 20 years, they were finding Japanese hiding out pilots that, got crashed out or whatever. They were hiding on the atolls in the South Pacific. They still thought the war was going on. So that would be a neat idea. Like they crash on this planet and, for however long, they get a relationship as, I don't know if it's a man and a woman or what, but, and they got to avoid these incredibly large monsters, and that'd be a trip. I'd watch that. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think they kind of did that with the last King Kong. Actually, the last King Kong was kind of like that.
Skull Island.
In the beginning,
Yeah, with John C. Riley.
it was the him and that Japanese pilot fighting each other, and then they ran into King Kong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, and you could absolutely do that. Oh, here we go, right here. Flair X, who is a wealth of knowledge on all things military, not just pilots. The longest one was found in 1974 in Okinawa.
Nice.
Oh,
Wow.
That's a long time to think the war's still going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. You find these stormtroopers that don't know the Empire fell, and
Yep. So they were off world somewhere. They're out like in the doing some exploratory stuff in like the outer rim or the unknown regions almost, not Exegol where you have thousands of Star Destroyers hidden under the ice that bust up through the surface of the planet, and there's inexplicably no damage done to any of them. And none of these Star Destroyers can work without one navigation tower. They don't each have their own navigation. Like you can't just look out the window of these things and go, hey, press the thrusters and we're going to go uppy.
There was another mistake, not to deviate from this awesome, I love the topic, but just real quick, since you said that, at one point in the movie, now things happen so fast and randomly that it's like a lot to keep up with. And I don't know if I'm wrong, because I've only seen this like maybe twice, but one of the Star Destroyers gets loose and goes and blows something up, doesn't it? I know it blows something up, like another ship, right? A planet. It blows up a planet.
I think it does.
Yeah, in the Rise of
They blow a planet up.
So where did that Star Destroyer go? Did it stay out there, or did it come back to Exegol, or like?
Who knows?
I can't remember now. I tried to block that movie out.
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's on Disney Plus. My wife and I went to see it opening night in the theater because I wanted to go with my mom because she took me to see Return of the Jedi in '83, and I didn't want to go to any other. I got sucked into going to Last Jedi. Somebody bought me tickets, and I didn't know how bad it was going to be. And so me and my mom, my sister, and I just got baked out, and me and my sister took my mom to go watch it. Like we're literally sitting there in the theater, and I'm eating an edible. I'm like, I already know how this ends, Mom. This is going to be bad. And within like 2-3 minutes of the movie starting, like, well, as soon as the opening crawl, the dead speak, I turned on and looked at my sister, and my sister was the Last Jedi defender at the time. And her stance has softened incredibly on that. She's like, yeah, that movie is terrible. I'm like, I got you to say it finally.
Dead speak.
But yeah, there was like a couple points in the theater where I like audibly was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like loud. I'm like, I'm usually not that guy, but I'm like, oh my God, it was so stupid. And then in the end, when they copy, spoiler alert, Tony, you already know they basically rip off Endgame.
Yeah.
It's like, so I know they're both owned by Disney, but that doesn't mean you can just blatantly copy the other one. That's like looking across the aisle at your neighbor's homework. You know what I mean? It was just like,
well, you can't hate Rey now because she's all the Jedi. So if you hate Rey, you hate the Jedi.
Damn loopholes. Damn loopholes. That was the thing. Is like they could have had so much. Like The Force Awakens, for all it did wrong, like they set up a really good arc with Finn, and then they just like Rian Johnson's just like, wait, hang on, let me do this right. Let me do it right. Where's it at? Here it is, right here. Okay, you man babies, here's what I'm gonna do. They have a stormtrooper redemption arc. I'm gonna make him a moron. It'll be so funny. He'll be walking around with bags, shooting water and shit, while everything blows up around him because who cares? He's just walking around like a dummy. It doesn't matter. Subversive, isn't it? And then he'll go to Canto Bite with the human potato sack, roast ego.
I love your wig, Ryan.
It's actually made of the hair of all the man babies I've conquered on Twitter.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I make them send me their hair. I don't know why it gets all these weird colors by the time it gets to me, but I sport it. Excuse me, I need to go get a vegan latte.
God.
Who the hell was that cotton candy hair freak? Who let him in here? Damn it.
32 degrees, weather coming in from the east.
and now Ollie Williams with the Blackie weather forecast. It's gonna rain. That's like one of the best like gimmicks on Family Guy is I go into Family Guy cutaways now. Is Ollie Williams. Like that's just because you always want more. It's like you want more Ollie. Man, we were talking more. I see this is what this used to happen on the podcast, like on Anchor. This is how the shows ended up being like, well, we're gonna have to break this episode into 2-3 hour increments because we just started talking about cutaways on cutaways.
Right.
It does. It just happens. But it's fun. What the hell? So favorite Empire Strikes Back moments. Flip, I'll let you go first, man.
Echo 3 to Echo 7. Honol, buddy, you read me. What's up, girl? Smell something funny? That's my favorite part. Because Luke gets whapped off the Wampa, and you're like, I don't know. I mean, it's not my favorite part of Empire, but that's the funniest part to me. But that's a tough one, man, because everyone wants to jump right to Vader, I'm your father.
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that it's more than just that scene. I think it's kind of the fact that he loses, so miserably. That's what interests me about movies, when they can make me expect something and I'm like, man, again. Like I watched a movie recently, Den of Thieves, with Ice Cube's son in it. I can't remember his name.
Ice Cube's son.
He's O'Shea Jackson Jr.
O'Shea Jackson Jr.
There you go.
Yep.
And I got toward the end and I was like, freaking typical. Of course a movie on Netflix is going to end this way. But then it just switches it up at the very, very last moment. And I'm like, excellent. I really liked this movie, but because of the ending, I was like, that's cool. And that's
what you're talking about.
Same with Empire, I think. That's, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That moment when you're like, oh, shit. And, yeah.
Steve, what do you got, man?
Every scene with Darth Vader in it. It's basically his movie.
Yeah.
That's what Empire Strikes Back is. It's basically Darth Vader's movie. I don't care what anybody says about Thor, Loki, Joker, whatever, whoever other villain out there in recent years. Darth Vader is probably one of the most badass villains. And heck, he's probably one of the most badass villains of all time. Him just controlling pretty much almost the narrative just among his men, choking his men, and beating up on Luke and putting Han in carbonite and just punking Lando. And just that's one of the reasons why this movie is one of my favorite movies, because he was just a villain, just didn't care. And he was smooth and cool about it too. And showed no emotion because you never know what he's thinking because he has the mask on. And he's just totally in control in that movie.
Yeah, you're spot on there, man. He was like completely, he was just the ace the whole time. He really was.
Mm-hmm.
You could, I like that. He just had that, of course, with the mask, but that stoicism about him. He just walks up, like I said, chokes one of his officers out, or chokes him through the screen with Admiral Ozzel, which he is as clumsy as he is stupid. That line is just, it's beautiful. It was beautiful.
Dark.
I love that line.
I
really do love that line. I use it all the time.
I've had when I was managing the marina, man, I had people work for me. I was like, yes, they're as clumsy as they are stupid. A couple of people I hired, I'm like, that's my fault. Tony, what do you got, brother?
So I just want to speak on this real quick. That was the first time Kylo Ren made me cringe in The Force Awakens, was when he lost his cool and started attacking equipment on the ship. And that's, just thinking about Darth Vader or the Emperor or Maul or Dooku or the Night Sisters or Boba Fett or any of these antagonists, Jabba, any of them, they have a certain patience to him and calm and coolness to him. So it was really weird to see that, you know. And Darth Vader was the ultimate of that, again, because the mask and you couldn't see his expression. So that was really what made me cringe about Kylo Ren at first. And I just wanted to throw that out there. But as far as Empire, again, I said it earlier, when Luke calls for Leia at the end of the movie, and probably the entire end of the movie, again, it was just interesting. You don't see many movies where the good guys aren't triumphant. And like Steve said, this was the movie where we got to know the antagonist. We get in the first chapter, we got to know the protagonists, and I don't know, it's just, I can't say for its time. I was born a couple years after it, but it's always been in my memory my entire life. I just love the movie, but sorry, I don't mean to go on, but just my favorite moment would probably be Luke calling out for Leia at the end.
And as you were talking about the Hoth scene, and what if it was a movie where Wampas were like this thing? It's funny, none of us, including myself, never brought up the Hoth opening back in 1980 to do something like that with a green screen or a blue screen and not have black lines all in it. I guess by now you guys have seen all the documentaries and, but it was quite amazing. It was really, of course the first movie was amazing.
Yeah.
1977, like, holy crap. But he stepped it up, he really did. And for real, when I was a kid, that scene, I definitely would have to say, ultimately, because I ran around pretending I was always in snow, and if it snowed outside, I was on Hoth. So.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was because I was gonna go last. That the entire Hoth sequence is that's my favorite part of that movie, hands down. Most of my collection a lot of it is Hoth based. I love that, and like I said, I would die happy if I got a standalone Hoth movie, where they delved into the horror genre a little bit. Let's see. Salvador says the bounty hunters on the bridge. You only get about 15 seconds of screen time for the other bounty hunters, but that whole thing spun up hours of imagination. And yet, I've got them? They're all sitting over my shoulder over here in Jabba's palace. Zuckuss and Forlam and Boba Fett and IG-88 and Dengar and Bosk. They're all just chilling over there with Jabba and the guys. But yeah, that scene on Hoth, though. I love that opening bat when you first get the AT-ATs, or AT-ATs as I like to call them. Sal and I were talking about that the other day. They're AT-ATs. They've always been AT-ATs. But
yeah,
you got to call them. It's an AT-AT.
Yeah, that's badass though. Like first time you see him.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh crap.
And General Veers was like, that's the thing. Like you don't get that much of him in the movie, but he was such an accomplished like battlefield general for the Empire.
Yeah,
he was such a badass. Like, he just like he dusted the rebels. He dusted them on Hoth. I mean, yeah, those. Oh god, it was funny because what's his name? John Ratzenberger makes a cameo in the beginning of that movie. Yeah. Cliff.
Cheers.
He's like, hey, Normie, I'm gonna be in the Star Wars there. I gotta go to Hoth.
What's that, like a new bar or something?
Yeah, no. It's a planet, snow and stuff. I actually took a bunch of my Hoth stuff outside a couple winters ago. I built my son a huge snow fort, and I set them all up in there. And
wow.
There's pictures on my Facebook page of it. It's like I did that in it was like winter of would have been like January of 2019. So I was like, yeah, because I'm trying to think when I moved into this house, but yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
How old?
What's that?
How old is he?
My son?
Yeah.
He's 4.5.
Oh man, I bet he loved it.
Oh dude, he's got he knows all the characters by their lightsaber colors. He knows their names. He was gonna be Darth Maul for Halloween a couple of years ago, but he got sick and I couldn't do his makeup.
Right,
I was gonna go as Dooku, and I grew my hair back for a year and everything just for this because I've shaved my head for 20 years now, and he got sick and we just strapped a Kylo Ren mask on him that somebody got him and put a hood on him and put gloves on, and he got to go. We did trunk or treat at the dealership I was working at, and I just shaved my head that night on a live stream. I got drunk and shaved my head So yeah, it was fun. Like I said, I grew my hair back, and I was like, "You look like an out of work porn star." And like a lot of these guys had never seen me without hair because they met me. During the time frame they met me, I had my hair, and yes, I shaved my head. I was like, "What the hell?" I'm like, no, trust me, this is way more natural this way. But yeah, he
our kids.
he freaking loves Star Wars, man. Like he bought, like, we went to this little bodega store and he bought like a green lightsaber, and we were out in the yard the other day fighting with it, and he shattered the barrel of it hitting mine. And I was like, okay, bud, we need to step up and get you. That's why I just buy him blade builders, because they're cheap and he breaks them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whatever, I can usually get them on clearance, so it's like I was buying those. But yeah, he's got a hell of a little collection going himself, because Salvador, he's the Don of 2 Cents Toys. He sent Trey a few packages, and I've given him a bunch of troopers. And like I said, we go to the bodega and we'll get we buy a lot of the Rogue One, the troopers, because I army build. So
wait till he gets like 17 and he's like, "Hey, do you want to play lightsabers, Dad?" You're like, "Hell yeah!" Now we can really get a little, hardcore with it. Next thing you know, you're getting whacked upside the freaking head.
Yeah,
it's a different story.
Not in the face, boy. Not in the face. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was
gonna say that I had probably all the lightsabers. I had Obi-Wan's from the first one, Phantom Menace. And I had Anakin's from Attack of the Clones. I don't think they stole anything for Revenge of the Sith, but I had Luke and Vader's lightsaber. And Darth Maul's. Don't forget Darth Maul's and Count Dooku's. And I also have Kylo Ren's, unfortunately. That Kylo Ren's a very expensive one. It's like a FX one.
Mm-hmm.
Very heavy duty ones. But exception of the Count Dooku and the Kylo Ren one, all my lightsabers, I still have the handle, the hilt to them, but all the blades gone, shattered them. Playing with my cousins. They had all the lightsabers too. They have Yard Wars with those things. Shattered every single one of them to pieces.
We had what the hell was it? When I was working at the dealership, this dude traded his car in, and he did competitive lightsaber duels at Ferris State University. And they had a club there, I guess. And me and one of the other salesmen there was basically 6-7 of us there that were huge like Star Wars freaks. Well, we're helping him clean out his car, and we found him. And I immediately just picked it up and turned it on. I was like, and he just laughed. I was like, "Do you mind?" He goes, "No, go ahead, man." He goes, "Those are our practice ones." So me and the other salesman are out in the parking lot just beating the shit out of each other with this dude's lightsabers while he's closing on his car. Like literally, like our GM was like, he's my age. He hired me through professional wrestling. He's like, "Hey, do you want to sell cars?" I'm like, "Yeah, what the hell?" So like I started working there, and he's like, "Oh my God, I want one of those things." He's like, "That's it. This is going to be our lunch routine now. We all got to buy lightsabers." I'm like, that would be freaking awesome. That'd be the day the owner of the company shows up. We're all just beating the hell out of each other in the service department with lightsabers.
I worked at a Hyundai briefly. Oh my Lord. I did 3 months, and we had the worst general manager on the planet. But if you could stick it out, are you still doing that?
No, I did. I did what 6 years, and then decided to retire early and become a stay-at-home dad. So,
all right.
I've been a stay-at-home dad for 2 years, and yeah, I am way out of shape now.
It happens quick, believe me.
I have lazy. I can walk like to my living room and walk out to my garage, and I have like a fully stocked like weight room, and I've just been lazy. YouTube is very time consuming. It is. Oh, yeah. It's very, especially when you put out a lot of content, and the production of the videos is the most difficult. Like I used to do 3 videos a day when I was doing point and shoots and no editing,
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not Mike Zero. I don't have 19 videos a day coming out. I don't have Star Wars news from the future. I'm not going to clown Mike Zero, man. I actually kind of gained a little bit of respect for him after the whole Ryan Johnson thing. I mean, I don't really take anything he says with more than a grain of salt, but the dude, he's hustling, and it's funny. Have you ever seen him on Twitter? He like follows like one person, I think it is.
I have tried forever to get him to follow the FC or me or anyone I know, and I've tried in multiple different fashions, even started a fake Twitter account to try and get on him. And man, even right before the Rise of Palpatine came out, I was like, he's hating on Star Wars. Surely he wants to be part of the fandom menace now.
Yep.
Not respond.
He's like tiptoed the line, especially after Ryan Johnson, kind of came out and started, mentioning my name. It's like, I don't think Ryan Johnson realized the favor he did to Mike when he started mentioning my name. It's like, yeah, you're insulting him, but dude, you have his name in your mouth. He's living in your head rent free, bro. You're supposed to be above that at your level.
Yeah, is it just me, or when the very first time you ever caught Mike Zero, did you think like someone was giving him real information? Like, how the hell does he know this?
Yeah, because the way he presents it is like so like deadpan serious, and it's like, yeah, it's like, who does he know in Lucasfilm?
Right.
Then you figure out Mike Zero's like we got this covered of Star Wars.
Yep.
Yeah, I for sure thought like he's Italian, clearly. So I thought, oh man, maybe he knows somebody who knows somebody,
Yeah, yeah.
But nope.
He's like, I got a guy.
Right.
How do you know? Forget about it. I got a guy.
Right,
Don't worry. It's like a Sopranos thing.
Soprano.
Or if you're a fan of Ozark.
Oh, it's filmed right here at Lake Lanier, about 20 minutes from me. Well, some of the scenes actually funny. My grandmother was in a nursing home a couple years ago. Anyway, they moved them all out to another home so that they could film right there in that nursing home. And it's really weird because I live in Georgia. Obviously, I wouldn't say that unless, obviously they're filming here. But
yeah,
I've even visited the Walking Dead sets back when people watched it,
See, I still love that show.
Oh, you do? You still love it?
Oh, God, yeah.
I just felt like once they killed Carl and spoiler alert, everybody, Carl and, what was his dad's name now? Rick. I was like, why'd they do that? No. And I just lost interest. But what's good? What's good on it?
I'm right now, man, I'm just caught up in it's the comic arc. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Negan is my favorite character by far now that Rick's gone. Like, I love the whole it was the Rick Grimes story. Now, I was pissed what they did with Andrea's character because I've read the comic book 3 times over, every issue of it. And what they did with Andrea on that show was a damn shame. Because I really like Laurie Holden, but a lot of that was because of contract disputes and stuff about her character.
Mm-hmm.
But they, the Whisperers, man, that whole thing with them has been really cool. It has been such a cool story arc. I thought what really hurt the show in the later stages was dragging All Out War for a whole season when they could and should have wrapped that up in about 12 episodes. And I said the same thing about the Whisper arc. I'm like, there was no reason for that to go on as long as it did. It should have been done already. Now we're getting into the Commonwealth, and this show has no sign. They have no plans of stopping this. They have no plans of stopping it. Like, because you got three Rick Grimes movies planned, plus this new show, which The World Beyond. I am not being too optimistic about that, because if it's anything as bad as Fear the Walking Dead has gotten, then because Fear the Walking Dead, like me and my wife were both like, and we're huge Walking Dead fans, and we're DVRing Fear and not watching it for like 4 days, and then fighting like, yeah, all right, let's watch. It's like, oh, we find excuses not to watch, and it's like Sunday. It's like, now we got to double up. It's like, oh my God, I can't sit through 2 hours of this.
Oh,
yeah, that's what happened to me when I tried to watch both of those. I said, I'm done watching Fear the Walking Dead. I'm gonna watch The Walking Dead. Then all of a sudden, I stopped watching The Walking Dead because I just think I think the last season, I think it's the season when they actually captured Negan. Spoiler alert. I feel like that season just dragged on long. Like Carl's death was just dragged on too long for me. That I just lost interest. And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do this no more. So
you're right there in that same season. I remember not Andrea. I can't remember the girl's name. It's been a minute, but they were walking. These 2 girls were walking together, and a zombie comes walking up, and they're just like, it was like a matter of fact situation. Like, oh, kill it. Okay, it's dead. And then just kept walking and talking. I was like, sort of like a jump the shark moment. Like the zombies weren't really scary anymore, and they were kind of in the way of the soap opera.
It's more the human threat now than the zombies, because they've been living in the world so long that it's like one walker, they're just like, oh well, that's no problem now. Whereas at the beginning of the show, it was terrifying to see one, let alone 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, or a herd like they have now. But yeah, if you remember in the beginning of the show, there was a point where the zombies carried stuff too. There's a scene in the very first season where they're in that mall where they left Merle on the roof. One of the zombies breaks through the glass with a brick.
Oh.
And you never see it again in the show, but that was the only time that happened. And I actually that won me a bet, because I was like, I bet you one of these. No, it never happened. Yeah, it did. It's in season 1.
I just think that the zombies, for me, I mean, it's not for everybody, but without the zombies being the big threat, that's what lost me, I guess.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like about this season more. Now the Whisperers are, obviously you have more of the walkers, but the Whisperers are wearing walker skin masks, and I mean it's a really cool, because it's like you would think there would definitely be people that would like devolve into this style of living if this really happened.
Sure.
But now on the other hand, it's like realistically, you're pretty much risking infection putting, but they almost cure the skin like leather to make it, wearable. But it's like there's only so much they can do to maintain the integrity of the look of the outside of it too. So it's like, okay, I mean, there was the seasons where they were, dousing themselves in like walker guts to walk through them, like when they did in Alexandria.
Yeah.
When they had the moment where Carl's eye got shot out by the kid. That whiny little kid Sam. I was so happy when he got eaten. Oh, I've never wanted a TV child to die so bad. I sound evil for saying that, but God, that kid was annoying.
He was annoying.
There were some good moments, and maybe I'll pick back up on it. You make it sound pretty tantalizing, I guess.
I just, like I said, man, I've been such a big fan of this show, and like I've read the comics 3 times over, and I was pissed when they ended the comic. The way Kirkman ended it, it was just like Rick got killed by like a no-name character. Spoiler alert for the comics, and I mean, it's just like, what the hell are you doing? Like, and then he just like, it's over. I'm like, well, what? No, but to be fair, the comic had been running for 16 years.
Oh wow,
something like that.
In a continual storyline, I mean, so that's that's something to be said for that. Oh, manliness and motivation. Kids got eaten and it wasn't Michael Jackson sleepover. or a barbecue at Kevin Spacey's house. Anyway, that's a spicy meatball. I mean, hey, what are you gonna do?
I do want to say, for The Walking Dead, I think who probably had the worst death was Everybody Hate Chris.
Oh, Noah.
Yeah, no. Oh my goodness, that terrified me for a couple of days after I saw it. That was brutal, real brutal.
Yeah, when he got plastered up against that window. That was a really cool scene though.
Yeah.
God, yeah, it was like, but that guy, what's his name? Oh God, he was with Glenn and the other guy from Alexandria. I can't think of his name. He was the one that shot himself on the dumpster when they did the Glenn fake out death.
Oh yeah, Nick. I think his name was Nick or something like that.
Nicholas. It was Nicholas. Thank you. Yep. Oh yeah, because he was Aiden's friend, which was the lady from Alexandria, the head of Alexandria, her son, one of her sons, because she had 2 sons.
Yeah.
Because there was Aiden and the little weasel one that Negan gutted. Now that was a cool death scene.
Yeah, that was.
Because he was trying to talk Negan. He was like, yeah, take Rick out, blah, blah, blah. And Negan got mad. And he's like, no, because Rick works for me.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. I was actually clapping when he did that, because that guy he was kind of getting on my nerves too.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he was. And that I said that Nicholas, when he shot himself, I'm like, I said, I called it. I was like, Glenn's not dead.
Yeah.
Glenn's not dead. One of the character deaths that really got me was Elizabeth Kinney. Beth, Maggie's younger sister.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Right in the head.
that lady cop shot her. I
That
was
was
like,
horrible.
that
Oh,
was one of
yeah.
those moments where I was like in my chair going, no, I like yelled. I was mad. I was like, "Ugh."
You want to know one of my favorite deaths? When they were in the prison and they started getting sick, and Carol just shrugged her shoulders and dragged the people out and shot him in the head.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
North Korea style. I like it.
She went full gangster. Like she
Yeah.
shot that little girl in the back of the head. Look at the flowers, Lizzie.
Yep.
She did. She just went full gangster. Was like, bah. Carol, she burned them saviors alive at that outpost. She caught him in that kill on the kill floor, goes in there, locks him in, throws a cigarette in there, toasts him. I mean, she's been one of the most savage characters on that show.
Her entire mentality, you would think she was taking the trash out to the curb. It was trash night, and she's dragging people out of the prison and shooting them in the head, people that she just had lunch with.
Yep. And Tyrese it was Tyrese, because she shot the girl that he was kind of in love with.
Yeah, he did. She
Yep.
did him.
And then because they ended up together in that house with the two girls and the baby, Lizzie, Mika, and Judith.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole freaking Lizzie goes nuts and stabs her sister, and she's getting ready to change Judith. She's out there playing tag with the walkers and stuff. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I felt Hank Hill. I was like, God damn it, it's 7:30 in the morning already. This girl ain't right. just freaking, she just caps her at the back of the dome. But yeah, man, Tyrese had one of the coolest death sequences for cinematography wise.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Dude, that the radio, that was Andrew Lincoln on the radio.
See,
Mm-hmm.
Tyrese is the prime example of like what my problem with that show is. I always wanted to see more from him, and I always wanted them to, and then next thing you know, he's dead, and it's like, well, what a waste, like, it's not even that he's dead, but while he was here, like, he should have been a bigger deal.
They did that with a few characters.
Yeah.
For me, Rick was a big one. Now, when you said a minute ago, Etep, that Rick is getting 3 movies, is that what you said?
Yes.
He's getting like Walking Dead movies?
Yes.
Okay, I heard that rumor. I just thought it was a rumor.
Nope. That's why Michonne just left the show too, because she's going over to the cinematic universe side of things too. Plus, she had Black Panther 2 to work on.
Oh, well, that changes things a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, thinking of a character that got killed a little bit too early was Shane.
Yep.
Yes, dude.
Way too early.
John Bernthal was like one of my favorite parts of that show was when he gave that speech in front of the barn when he frees all the walkers and they just like go full on Guns of Navarona. I mean, dude, that was oh God, it was just like that whole speech just gave me chills. I'm like, oh, he's just a bad man. Like I like Shane. Like for everything that he did wrong, I still liked him just because I'm like, he just wants to get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
He was a little shade with Lori there. I mean, he was a little bit rapey, not gonna lie. There's a reason why he got his, she slashed his face up, because that was when they were at the CDC at the end of season 1. But yeah, man, he took an early death that was way too soon.
Yeah, a few of them. But I'm really glad to hear that they're going to make the movie for real. Perhaps that's how they end. I always had this, fantasy, and you guys ought to tell me your fantasy of how The Walking Dead might end on TV. But mine was that it would go to the theater, and at the end, the nukes would go off or something. That was, my sort of ending. What about you guys?
I actually kind of thought about the same thing about nukes going up too. I said, this is the only way this can really end. Something like nuclear bomb goes up or something like that. Because what do you have at this point, really?
Yeah.
The whole world is gone.
Yeah, I don't think they're ever going to find a cure in the show. I really wanted to see that old man Carl ending to where he was kind of like the last man standing from the group. Society had kind of not come back to normal, but they kind of had like, they were bartering, kind of like the Hilltop in the Kingdom and Alexandria. You had communities, and it was almost like going back to like the Wild West kind of living arrangements. But you'd barter with communities, and it was just like that, and it would just end with Carl, kind of telling he would be the one telling the whole story to, like, say his grandkids or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tony?
Yeah. I bet you this movie will be released by Universal. Watch.
There's gonna be black goo in it if it's a
Yeah.
Blumhouse thing.
Oh, yeah, because I don't know I know they got technically the theme park rights for Walking Dead because they have a Walking Dead maze out Universal Hollywood. So I don't know. It could be possibly coming out of there. Who knows though?
I can't. I think it because I can't remember who it is that owns AMC.
I
But
think AMC is his own
no,
company. I think.
but they have a subsidiary to where they were going to release the movies. I can't remember what it was. I watched. There's a couple really big Walking Dead channels. I still like Trev's Chan too, and Movie Idol does a lot of Walking Dead stuff, and PT Channel. So I still watch them. Actually, one of the biggest Walking Dead spoiling sites just shut down, and they were open for, God, they were around for 6 years, because when I had my, I used to do a segment on the radio called Discussing the Dead with DJ SKN, and I had a YouTube companion, or not YouTube, but a Facebook video series I did with it, and accompanying to it, kind of adjacent, like my own ETEP universe, and I would get the spoilers from the Spoiling Dead fans, because I would talk about it on the radio and make, if you want the spoilers, you got to go and watch the Facebook video. It was just a way to drive traffic to my page, and I would do like 5 to 10 minute spoiler videos based on what they were releasing, and that they're shutting down now. So yeah, there goes my spoiling site. Damn it! My wife used to get mad because I'd be listening to the videos. I'd be in the basement working out. I'd be listening to videos, but God damn it, stop! I don't want to know. I'm like, I do. I want to know who dies.
Yeah.
Oh, Leo Red, I was listening to the show. I was listening to this song when Flipp came on. I think in the background, I had Donny Hathaway on. Someday We'll All Be Free. I do not like Sonequa Martin Green. After seeing Star Trek, what is that? Star Trek Dumpster Fire with her.
Yep.
What is that? STD.
Yep.
Star Trek Dumpster. And yeah, man. Her death scene though was that really. She was so kind of wooden on here, but yeah, that death scene really hit, man. It did. That just her laying in that coffin, listening to that Donny Hathaway song, I was like, oh my God, man, that's like almost Waterworks territory right there.
Yeah.
That song is, anything by Donny Hathaway is good though, but the way they used that song in that scene was absolutely perfect. Like,
she pops out and attacks him. Like, I mean,
yeah,
assassination attempt for sure.
Yep. Yeah, and then they had the explosives rigged, and those didn't work because Eugene double-crossed them.
Oh yeah, Eugene. Man, it's been a minute since I saw this. Y'all are bringing a lot of memories back.
Yeah.
Eugene.
Yep, I like, man, what's his name? Josh Porter that plays him. He's funny. He's like legit, like a funny dude. And he does that character has kind of grown. I couldn't stand him at first,
Of course.
Couldn't stand him, but it's like he grew on you. And Abraham, man, Michael Cudlitz, holy shit, he was great. Like, he reminded me of my dad. Like, he reminds me of, he's like, my father's a Marine, and I mean, he just like always like just, yep, that's basically what I grew up with. That's what it reminded me of. But
Yeah.
so we're running a little long in the tooth here. We've been on for about 2 hours. I think this is a good place to leave it off. Let me go through and thank Leo Red. Wait, what do you say? My favorite Donny Hathaway song is I Love You More Than You'll Ever Know. I will check that out as soon as we go off air here. Let's see. Oh, Flare X. Hey, now don't smack the name Eugene. I'm picking up what you're laying down, pimpin'. Thanks, Flare X. You're wrenched up now. Leo Red, Manliness and Motivation, the Don Salvador. If you're not subscribed, go over and subscribe to Leo Red's channel. Check out 2 Cents Toys, Salvador. That's my man from the boardroom. Go out. You got to subscribe to Flipped Out's channel. Go check out the Phantom Collective channel as well. Who else is in the chat here? I'm looking up. Nerdy Blurb TV too. Like I said, if you need intro or outro work, any graphics, redesign for your channel, hit up Nerdy Blurb, man. He does the damn thing, and did a great job with mine, and I really appreciate it. He's going to be coming on the program within the next couple weeks too. Appalachian American, thank you, my brother, and go over and check out the men's room. It's Appalachian American, his new his new channel, so you can check that out as well. Fan Addicts of Film was here earlier, and that looks to be like I have went back to the very beginning of the night. So I'm going to give Flipp a solo and let him plug his channel. And on the way out, go ahead, man.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. It was great to meet you guys. Franchise History TV and ToneDef. Really enjoyed it. And I subbed to both of you guys. I'll be checking out your channels later.
Thank you, bro.
Of course. Yeah. Really felt like we, talked about some stuff that we really agree with. Also, anybody out there, if you want to come by my channel, it's Flipped Out. But I also run with my partner, the Rookie Critic, the Phantom Collective channel, where you yourself can do a video and you can put it on that channel and then put it on your channel too. And just promote yourself. Get yourself in front of a handful of other people that maybe you don't normally get in front of. And because we're all about promoting people, the Phantom Collective is all about rising together. And what does that mean? That just means that if you're new to YouTube and you need to get started, we kind of walk you through collaborating, networking, and get you introduced to the community of the Fandom Menace. And because, we're all here, to help each other and make our voices one so that we are louder. And that's about all I have. Come by the FC and we'll post you there too.
Excellent, man. Thanks for coming on, Flipp. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Like I said, once you're here once, you pretty much got an open door invite, man. Next up, Emperor Steve from Franchise History TV.
Well, thanks for having me once again. As far as any content being on the channel this week, I do have a Spider-Man video coming out soon. Actually, tomorrow. I'm still trying to work on the whole Shaq reviews Rise of Skywalker coming out. Still working on that. And I also just got uploaded a Justice League Dark Apocalypse War review on Saturday, I think it was. So go check that out. And a little heads up, that movie is very dark. Probably one of the darkest DC Media's videos, movies, whatever I ever watched in my life. When I mean dark, it's dark. So go check that out. And yeah, that's pretty much it so far.
All right, man. Well, thanks for being on again, brother. I appreciate it, as always. And last, but certainly not least, let's get over to the wokest warrior, Tony ToneDef.
All right. And everybody, Flipp, it's a pleasure to meet you and work with you tonight, and definitely an honor. I've checked out a couple of your videos throughout the past, I'd say at least year and a half, and it's been exciting to work with you, so thank you.
Same here, brother.
Steve, always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Mr. E. Tepukuyan, thanks again for having me on the show.
Always a pleasure to have you on, brother.
And guys, if you haven't, go subscribe, Tony ToneDef. You can follow me on Twitter at TToneDef. Search for me on Discord at The World of Tony ToneDef. Let's build up a Discord over there. It's a little freer as far as speech goes, so I like that platform.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a little late to the party. I just finished the first season of Cobra Kai, and this season was done so well, I'm almost nervous to watch the second season because I don't want to find out if they botch it or not. Because of that, I have a video coming out soon, just kind of highlighting, non-spoiler, highlighting what I like about Cobra Kai, maybe a few of the cons. I've been playing this one close to the vest. I have an interview coming soon with a big name. I can't reveal just yet, but stay tuned. It's coming in the next few weeks. Thank you everyone again for tuning in and letting me fill your head with my BS opinions. Sorry, Dana Schwartz stayed the night again. My bad.
Oh, if it isn't one of your dogs, it's my kid running in the office. He did that shit. He did that shit. I don't think it was on Monday. I think it was on the boardroom on Wednesday. Or yeah. No, was it Monday? It was last Monday. He come running in, so I just put the headphones on and let him say hi to everybody. I was like, screw it, he's not on camera. Awesome. He already knows. He grabs my phone and runs around the house, and he goes, he gets the camera, turns the video on. He goes, "What's up, Trey? It's me with another video." I'm like, oh shit, kid. I'm like, he's copping Jeremy's on throat. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I guess I watched too many Geeks and Gamers videos. He's heard that a few times. There's a few YouTubers' voices. He knows Tony's voice because we talk all the time, and Sal's voice, man, because we're always messaging back and forth. I'm too lazy to text. That's like I always message Flipp on Twitter, so I can't use voice to text on there or just use voice messaging. So I have to actually like type in stuff. I'm not used to that. I got lazy. Lazy in old age.
How did we ever survive when we had to hit the number like 3 times to get a T?
I was thinking about that the other day. Remember when texts cost like 10 cents a piece?
Call me after 9.
Yeah, call me after 9. So my night weekend minutes kick in, girl. Oh, let's see. I have the rest of this week. I'm officially done with Batwoman for the season. That was my last Batwoman review for season 1. So enjoy that. The fruits of my labors. I tried to make it a little more interesting. But yeah, that show it was a trash heap dumpster fire that I'm glad it's over with. But I miss Ruby already, and I can't wait for season 2. I miss you, boo. I'm gonna watch Stargirl tomorrow night. I don't think I'm gonna review it though. I'm just gonna check it out, see if it's worth talking about. If I might do one video on it, see how that goes. I've got the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary video coming out this week. Salvador and I have a co-op video we're doing for the 10th anniversary of the show Lost, retrospective of some of our favorite things about the show, because I love me some Lost, man. My wife and I just started watching it again. This would be the 3rd or 4th time I've watched the show all the way through. I think it's the 4th, but it's the first time in a couple of years we're watching it. So yeah, I love me some Lost. So we got that coming out, and you'll have a few other little random videos that'll pop up during the week. Like I said, you can find me right here, Etepo Coon's a place to be reviews. You can find my videos also over on the Fandom Collective, which I didn't link. I will put in the description. Everybody else's channel, Flipp, Tony, and Steve's channel are in the description, so you can get the links right there to the channels if you didn't catch them in the chat earlier. And yeah, that's it, man. I got there's a wrestling podcast here tomorrow night. Maybe, I don't know how I feel yet. I don't know if I feel like streaming 4 days this week or not. So I might take Tuesday night off and come back next week with the wrestling show. We'll see how I feel tomorrow morning. But I think Wednesday night, am I working with you again, Flipp?
Yes, Wednesday. Oh my God, what's Wednesday? I've got a million things going through my head. I know that we're going to be talking. That's for sure.
Yeah, Wednesday is. I think Wednesday's the 20th. So yeah, I think because we had set that up. So yeah, I'll be.
We have the Nerd Blast on Wednesday. Yeah, man, you're asking me. I'm like, I'm on cruise control over here and letting you talk away. But yes, we do have that. Yeah,
that's on the Fandom Collective channel, right?
Indeed, yes, sir.
Okay, so that'll be over on Fandom Collective Wednesday night. What time we starting?
It should be 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so 7:30 Eastern time. You can catch me over there with Flipp and whoever else is joining us on Wednesday night for Nerd Blast. I'm looking forward to that. Friday night, I'll be over on Raiders of the Lost Flicks live with Groovinator and Big Rig, Nick Utan, the last standing Samoan from WCBS. And Steve's been over there a couple times. I don't know if you're on this week or not, but you can catch him over there periodically too. So we watch really bad movies, and I usually get really drunk on Friday nights and talk and watch bad movies. So that's it, guys. That's the show tonight. Thank you everybody for joining us. I really appreciate it. And Flipp, you're welcome back anytime, my man. We like to keep things fresh around here. I have we rotate through people and have different combinations of panelists on. So absolutely, man, I'd love to have you back on. Thank you, chat. Steve, Tony, you guys are great as always. Thank you, guys. And remember, I'm Etepo Coon, and the place to be reviews. I have been here with all of you. So what do I say at the end of every video? I say, if I don't see you, have a great day and a pleasant tomorrow.